put a couple marks, we might not remember exactly which one we were dealing with. So just make sure that you mark it. Sometimes I even say we'll circle that as well. So we'll put a circle around the outside of it just so we know exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
So once we put our mark there, you just want to check that mark again, because as you hit that with the hammer, the pipe could have actually slid or turned just a little bit, and that's going to throw our center line off. So we'll just check it again, put it right in your mark, and you see how it actually slid to the side now?
Yeah, it's a little off.
So we just want to make sure that we level that off before we start to make our next mark.
A little more.
All right, so you just look at your level, just make sure that we're still level there. All right, so we know we're level, so now we can put our next mark down here, a little bit farther.
Hold it, please. This one put in the middle.
Right here, one in the middle, and one at the end.
Yep, yeah, so we want to have as much points to actually reference that line as possible. Otherwise, we're trying to stretch something long enough to go from this end all the way to that end.
Can you knock that? Yeah, perfect.
All right, yeah, one more time. All right, that should be a good enough indent as long as you can see it. As long as it's
See it, right?
indented.
Yeah, I see it.
Let me draw a little circle around it too so you remember. Our last one we can put right
So
down
then,
here.
so then before we put that mark, just check it again.
Check it.
Remember, as soon
Check
as
it
we
again.
hit
Huh?
this pipe is actually going to possibly rotate. This is a lighter pipe. If it was a heavier one, it wouldn't move as much, I guess. But we'll just check it again, make sure that, all right, so we're still squared up. All right, so that's perfect. So now we can make our third mark.
And you're just making sure that bubble.
Yep,
Stays
just
center.
right in the center of the
Make sure
actual
she's
level.
not as well.
Make sure that the bubble's right in the center of the vial.
Put up, put up.
Right?
Yeah. She jump.
Yeah. I can see it.
Mark right there, and we just gonna make sure.
Just
Is she that?
check it before you actually mark it though.
Check it.
Yep, just stick it in there and make sure that that's a level point.
Yeah, it is.
Still level?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so that's what you want to do. Just make sure you double check every time. You don't know who it's going to rotate. If it bounces off just a little bit, and our line, our original center line, is not going to be straight like it's supposed to be. So now we can just draw this line down. Just make sure with your soapstone also that it is as sharp as you can possibly get it. If we don't sharpen the soapstone after the line that was made, our line is going to gradually get larger. So we're not going to actually have one tight line, we're going to have a wider line, so we're not actually going to be able to take proper measurements off of that.
You use this flat plate to sharpen it up, right? Flat plate. Sharpen it up.
So to sharpen it up, we just want to just run your actual soapstone across a steel plate. Can't do it on plastic, can't do it on flooring, but it's just going to take off the proper amount so that we get a nice sharp edge on it. So always just remember, when we're marking something, the flat side of it will be up against our actual ruler, not the other way around, because this way it might actually come farther away and give us an incorrect measurement. All right, so now we're just going to connect these lines. This will be our original center line.
You see how you did it flat?
Flat
Look,
up
look in
against
the
the
ruler.
actual ruler. That way we're going to get a nice precise line. All right, so we'll mark that, slide it down, and we'll mark down here.
You have a line of reference all the way down.
Yep. And we would go from one end to the other. The reason that we want to actually put this center line is because we don't know if we're going to possibly have to turn this pipe over to get finished up by possibly night shift. So there's gonna be 2, 3, maybe even 4 shifts that work here. So if we don't get this pipe done, we don't get all the markings, we don't get all the actual components or piping branch lines coming off of it, somebody else is gonna have to work on this. So they will be able to use our same center line. So we can always come back to that one. If I accidentally, somebody bumps this pipe like that, or the stands happen to move, or whatever, we can always bring it back to that same center line with our center finder. So here, I just write C, L. So that's gonna be our center line, just so we know exactly where it is in case we need to come back to it.
CL.
So I just rotated a little bit, just showing what could happen. So we just gotta take our center finder and just make sure that we re-center the pipe again. So, take the center finder.
Right.
So just run it back in one of these 3 markings that we have already. And we'll make sure that we center it up before we start again.
So the center line like tilt over a little bit, you got center it.
Yep, just reposition it because we're going to be taking measurements off that center line. So we want it to be direct dead center. So when we take a measurement with our actual...
This one might be off, Mike.
What is it?
This one might be off.
Yeah, so I just rotated the pipe a little bit. So
Oh, you did?
Do is just rotate it back so we find it level again. All right. Once we get it leveled off, so now we're going to actually draw in so that we can find a branch line. So it's just going to be coming off at a 45-degree angle, 13 3/4 in from the end of our pipe. So you gotta get the measuring tape.
No, right here, Mike.
All right, so another thing that I would suggest is that we write down our measurements. So we have to. You want to write it on a piece of paper so you have it right with you, so you don't have to accidentally possibly take the wrong measurement.
Not paper and pen right here, Mike.
So, all right, so yeah, so I'm just gonna write it on the board. So
Okay, I'll copy it.
13 3/4 in from the end of our pipe, and then our degree of rotation is going to be clockwise 45 degrees. So that's where our first branch line is going to be on this pipe. So that's going to be the center of the hole that we need to cut to the branch line. So one's going to be at 13 3/4, 45 degree clockwise rotation, and your next one's going to be 18 7/8 from the end of the pipe, and then counterclockwise rotation of 90 degrees. So that means for our first one, we're going to rotate clockwise around the pipe. For our second measurement, we're going to go this way, counterclockwise around the pipe the other way. One's going to be at 45, one's going to be a 90-degree angle. So first thing that we want to do, we want to take our measurement. So we're going to start with our 13 3/4 and our 18 7/8. We're going to get that marked out, and then we're going to wrap. We're going to use the wrap around to actually give us a straight line that'll go all the way around our pipe. Now the wrap around, technically, you use it more for when you're actually going to make the cut.